I have a confession to make. I unironically like Kingdom Hearts 3. This is not a joke. Yes, it might sound like a controversial opinion and all, but I can't help myself. I'm a very emotional person, let's just say, to keep it brief, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Personal story. When I got Kingdom Hearts 3, I was so excited. It was genuinely one of the things I was probably most looking forward to in my life. And I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. I cried at the opening scene of the game, and you have to understand where I came from. I loved Kingdom Hearts. Even before that, I loved Kingdom Hearts 2 so much. It's one of my favorite games of all time, in all honesty. And you have to understand, waiting 13 years for something, which, by the way, would be 13 out of 18 years of my life at the time, is insane. And you have to understand that waiting for something for so long, for such a long period of time, and such a large portion of my life, can you really blame me for getting emotional at finally having the game in my hands? Not to mention, the game is good. Sure, you can criticize the story, that's fine, it's not perfect, but that's not even what makes Kingdom Hearts so good. It's the gameplay. 3 did have good gameplay. Some things were a little annoying, some things were a little overpowered even. However, the general cathartic sense that the game gave, it just scratched an itch that hadn't been scratched in such a long time. And this is also without mentioning the fact of Remind, KH3's DLC released about a year later, that not only added a lot of good additional things to the game, but added the best boss fights in the series since 2FM's Data.org fights. The thing about these fights too is that in some cases, some of the repeated org members' fights are, in my opinion, better in 3 than in 2. Seriously, does anyone actually enjoy the Demyx fight from 2 every single time they play it? To me, it seemed like 2's fights have been sort of solved over the years, I would say. And 3 just provided us with something new to do, something new to solve, something interesting to actually do, especially with the new members who we hadn't even fought before in the Data.org format. I personally really enjoyed the Xion, Marluxia, and Xigbar fights. I personally also really enjoyed the Vanitas fight, despite what other people might say. I also really enjoyed the Dark Riku fight. I think that was a very fun and challenging fight that had you constantly on your toes and needing to look and guard at the most precise times. Not to mention how much I loved the Xemnas fight. Yes, it's not exactly the same cathartic feel as in 2 via the reaction commands, but it's pretty damn close to being as good as the one in 2. Because not only do you have to guard this absolute onslaught of an attack, but you actually have to time it well too, because there are certain lasers shot where you actually need to guard because they break your guard. So not only does it relive the same cathartic feel of 2, but you actually have to put your brain into it and think and not just mash. For some of these reasons, these are why I like the fights in 3 so much. Trust me, not all are great. The Terra Xehanort fight, not the most interesting in the world. The Ansem fight looked cool, but didn't really have much going for it. The Larxene fight as well was also way too easy, I would say. The young Xehanort fight was fine. Saïx's battle was good, but not the greatest. I will say that the Saïx fight was missing that absolutely based reaction command from 2 where you steal his weapon. It just made this fight so much harder with his AoE attacks and his various unguardable attacks as well. By no means is that a serious complaint from me though. It's just, there is some element of soul missing from that. Stealing Sayx's weapon and just using it to pull off a monster combo on him is one of the most cathartic feelings in 2FM that makes use of the system of reaction commands, which are inherently better than KH3's, what was it even called? Oh right, situation commands. Luxord's fight was another fine one. It definitely was different, but it certainly wasn't the same. It didn't hit the same feelings as 2's Luxord fight. This is the case where I would say 2's was definitely better. And probably one of my favorite fights, Shion's fight. What a cathartic fight. You have to constantly be on your toes, ready to guard, dodge, and counter at the most precise moments, because she does not let up. Not to mention, she has a very challenging desperation move that not only challenges your skills and timing to your limits, but also makes the background change, which is just such a soulful touch, and makes the fight really unique and interesting. As of the recording of this video, the only fight I haven't beaten yet was Master Xehanort. I will admit I did drop the game a long time ago to focus on school. However, in the next few months over summer, where I have more time, I would love to finally complete the Remind DLC.